Wahoo McDaniel Wednesday. No, it's AEW Dynamite Wednesday, actually. But I'm here. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm Dominic DeAngelo, ad-free shows, SEScoops.com. I had an energy drink today. I had several coffees. So I am freaking zooming right now. And who else is zooming with me but Robert Karpeles, WCreative_ish. Robert, happy Wednesday to you, man. I'm fired up.
I don't subscribe to your over-caffeinated addiction. It's like Jesse Spano on Saved by the Bell. You're going to start singing, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. But I'm excited for today. This is kind of a bittersweet episode for us today, Dom, because we realized this is our last show that we're going to be doing together until next Tuesday. Want to give a quick edit for that. There will still be Rumor and Innuendo every day this week and next week. I am going to be out of town Thursday and Friday of this week. So Dom is going to have a tremendous co-host. And then on Monday, Dom is going to be traveling to Philly for Mania Week. So I will be joined by, I think, that same wonderful co-host, Dom, who's going to be filling in the rest of this week.
Oh, my gosh. Longtime listeners of WrestleZone will appreciate that I will be having my degenerate brother, Marcus D'Angelo, as the guest host for Thursday and Friday. And he could potentially, we haven't even broken it to him yet. He might be doing Monday too. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, Marcus, as he's the co-host of Jake the Snake Pit with Jake Roberts, does the Hacksaw Hour with Jim Duggan. Everybody's got a pod with Ted DiBiase. So he's well-versed. He will be in Philly later on that week, but he will be filling in for Robert Thursday and Friday, and then possibly Monday too. It should be a good time. I can't wait to job out my brother.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for some of the folks here in the chat. Jennifer V says, ready to hear your thoughts. Doesn't say about what, so she's going to get all of our thoughts. Joseph Wade Walters, good morning, gentlemen. Mike Malaro, happy Wednesday, everyone. I get to meet Becky Lynch tonight. We actually have some Becky Lynch news coming up later in this episode, Dom, but what do we got on tap?
Absolutely. So, yeah, we got Becky Lynch, like Robert just mentioned. We're going to address the Motor City Machine Guns and what their future might hold finally. AEW names a new COO. We'll cover that. They announced Double or Nothing for Vegas. But first, we're going to start off how Wednesdays usually start off for us, and that's an AEW Dynamite preview. And, Robert, they have quite the card lined up for Quebec City here. The main event will be
Quebec City, if you're there. It's the weird thing with Canadians. It's like it's Quebec City and then it's Toronto, not Toronto.
How about that?
If you say that, they get all mad. These people who think hockey is a sport. What do you got for me, Dom?
There you, Robert. But we got Will Ospreay versus Shibata as the main event. Takeshita, did I say it? Get it?
Nope, not even close. Takeshita. You were literally practicing before we went on the air. Like, guys, he was rehearsing. He's practicing. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. Like, at this point, I know that it's AEW Dynasty. I feel comfortable saying AEW Dynasty. I've conquered my demon. Dom and Takeshita is kind of a better feud than anything Takeshita has dealt with in the Don Callis family. But he is wrestling friend of the show, Swerve Strickland.
Yes, it should be a very good matchup. We also have the tag team title tournament continuing with the Young Bucks taking on Private Party in a harken back to their old match. Then Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale.
What if that's the step? The harken back to our old match. I want to make Excalibur have to say that very quickly.
That would be.
You were the king of random big words. Your verbose vocabulary occasionally shows up, and then when it comes to saying Takeshita, it's just marbles flying out of your mouth
like a complete idiot. But yes, there's a four-way: Chris Statlander versus Scott.
Quick shout out here, Mike Malaro, who says, "I want to see how badly Dominic can mess up his own brother's name." Stay tuned for that tomorrow. If there's no other draw, I gotta figure it out. My plane must have Wi-Fi. I'm hoping I can stream while I'm in midair flying to New York. So apologies to those sitting next to me on the JetBlue flight. Mainly my wife, who's going to have to sit while I'm trying to watch you guys, and I'm just messaging in the chat with complaints and flames.
Show the flight attendant and everybody that what you're watching. Get them everybody tuned in, you know. But yes, there's a fatal four-way going on. Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue versus Will Nightingale and versus Anna Jay with Mercedes Moné on commentary. The weird thing is somebody gets a title shot and Monet is not even the world champ. Best Friends versus the Undisputed Kingdom too will also be on there. Robert, what do you kind of hope to see from this? This is a lot of matches that kind of don't reflect a good storytelling aspect. It's more of the moves coming into play. It seems a lot of with a lot of these talents. What do you kind of think of this card though for tonight for AEW Dynamite?
So I think it's a guarantee that we're going to get two incredible matches. Ospreay and Shibata should be a tremendous match, even in the condition that Shibata is currently. The hope here is when Shibata main evented Collision against Bryan Danielson, failed to be a draw. It's not a controversial statement. It was under 400,000 viewers. Ospreay laid out his case last week for why he wants to wrestle Shibata, why this is important to build to that Danielson match. So it's some degree of storytelling, not a tremendous degree of storytelling, but at least it's something, and it should be a very good one-on-one match. I think the same thing with Swerve and Takeshita. It's an opportunity to just spotlight guys that if you had really strong creative behind them and you were building something, boy, you can get a hell of a program out of these two. I think Takeshita, I'm not saying anything controversial to say he reminds me of a young Randy Orton. And having worked with a young Randy Orton, that long, lanky guy who can go out there and have incredible matches, him and Swerve, who's just sort of channeling his inner Shawn Michaels, it could be something really magnificent. And it's a great way for Swerve to reaffirm this idea that he is, in fact, a babyface now. He's going up against Samoa Joe. Nobody's going to cheer the Don Callis family, even in Quebec City. I'm just going to keep saying it now because now it's just really obnoxious. And then you got this 4-way women's match. Do we know which women's title it's for?
I think it's for the Tony Storms. They just said a title match, so I think it is the world title.
I would suspect it's probably for the other title, just because I feel like Tony Storm is sort of in this continuing feud with Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. So it feels like this may be for Julia Hart's title.
That would make a little more sense considering Sky Blue's in that too.
It would make sense, and we're getting more of Mercedes Moné doing what she does best, which is talking. I like Mercedes a whole lot. I don't think her on commentary is going to do anybody any true favors, but you're getting her out there. It's making it feel like there's a reason for her to be there. I understand you're not going to immediately plug her into a number one contenders match because she hasn't earned it yet. And then Best Friends in the Undisputed Kingdom is one of those matches and feuds, Dom, I want to see them put on an ice sheet and push out into the ocean, and we just never see it again. I hate everything to do with this devil story. I don't find anything particularly compelling about the Undisputed Kingdom. Best Friends are the same thing of we get the shtick. There's nothing really going on there. And then there's, of course, a tag tournament. The irony being that Tony, who loves tag tournaments, loves tournaments in general, and it's March, it's tournament time. This tournament, it hasn't existed on Dynamite. It wasn't on last week to the point where I thought maybe they canceled it. I asked Scott Chaplin, my Wrestle Roast co-host and fervent AEW defender and apologist, and he's like, yeah, this kind of sucks. But Young Bucks and Private Party, when that match first happened, all the way back on that Dynamite, and Private Party won, you're like, wow, you're really making these guys. I'm excited to see what you're going to do with them. 5 years later, I haven't done a hell of a lot with those guys. I understand there's injuries that have happened, but they just didn't capitalize it on the last go round. I'd suspect they're not going to capitalize on it here, and the Bucks are going to move forward in this tournament. What are you looking forward to tonight for Dynamite, Dom?
I'm looking forward to Will Ospreay. I'm a novice when it comes to Shibata's work and everything like that. But I think he is the star. We talked about that the past couple of weeks after Dynamite aired, and just him being on the mic and stuff like that, he makes it. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's nearly at the level that Cody Rhodes is at from event tune-in television, but he's well on his way to kind of capturing that kind of thing that Cody had in AEW. And it's just a very big matter of them positioning him in the right way and handling him in the right fashion. And so, yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to that. I'm more so of the story-based stuff. So it's like I want to see stuff develop and I want to see things go on. Swerve is going to be awesome. Like, and I also, when I tuned into that Bootleg Kev show and him talking on it, like I can't.
Do you get a cut from these guys? This
No,
is 2 days in a row. You're putting over Bootleg Kev like it's being hosted by a Gagne brother.
Right.
Like it is insane. Is there a Kevin Gagne that we don't know about who's
There
a
might be.
hip hop aficionado?
Lance Von Erich style. But the way he handles himself is great. Like he's a personality and he's also up in that level. So you get if they really focus on the guys like MJF, Swerve, Will Ospreay, but they have to hone in. It's just been a constant issue with AEW. So
don't worry, Dom. They're focusing in on a bright young star tonight, Chris Jericho. He's going to be he's going to be propositioning Hook. Right. So get your NDAs ready, kids. I'm joking. We're kidding. We love Chris. I got his book behind me. I think I'm even pointing to it correctly. Don't we get it? Yes, you're a literary mastermind here, but that's your storyline that you're going to get. The next pay-per-view is literally being sold on the idea of you want to see Joe and Swerve one-on-one. Doesn't really need a story beyond champion and challenger. You want to see Ospreay and Danielson one-on-one. Doesn't need a story beyond this is going to be a hell of a match. For everything else, there's nothing incredibly compelling going into it, but they have a short runway to sell this pay-per-view, so it needs to be how AEW sells shows right now, which is you're going to get a ton of great wrestling matches. And if that appeals to you, they're going to get your $49.99, I think is what they charge for these things.
And it's now on Triller TV too, plus Triller TV Plus. It changed from Bleacher Report, which is probably a good thing because Bleacher Report was not very reliable. I will say.
Well, Triller was Fight, who was we had their CEO on here a couple months ago, and we're running Innuendo. He was on here talking about that rebranding. Look, they're in a tough spot right now because it's WrestleMania season. Everything is just being swallowed up by the WWE news cycle. The matches, the celebrity involvement. They announced Meek Mill was going to be there this week. Obviously, you've got The Rock. All of their stories seem to be firing across the board on all cylinders. AEW is leaning on their bread and butter right now, which is wrestling. They are very much in a rebuilding phase, and the guys that you called out, Swerve, Ospreay, Takeshita, these are the guys you want to be building your future on, and they're recalibrating and readjusting their product. It's very difficult to get a casual fan right now who's getting WrestleMania for the cost of Peacock, which I think is like $5 a month. And then you're going to say, hey, we want you to pony up $50 a month, and we don't really have a compelling story. But if it's $50 a month and or $50 for this show, and you're going to get Ospreay versus Danielson, there's a whole bunch of people that are going to be lining up the Futurama, take my money game graphic. Yeah, the meme, the whatever the internet kids want to call it. But you know what? You're going to have a little bit more money to be able to spend on AEW Dynasty, because we're going to help save you some money in the bedroom where it counts, guys. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex. Remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Visit BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Guys, this is a lot like an AEW pay-per-view. You don't need a lot of storyline. You don't need a lot of buildup. You just know that when the time comes, you're going to deliver, because Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. You're going to put a 5-star classic on in that bedroom. 7 if you're having sex in the Tokyo Dome before they arrest you. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo. Dom, I feel like tomorrow on the plane, just by force of habit, it's going to be 12:15, and I'm just going to start saying this to strangers. So when the air marshal takes me down, this is going to be why. And as I'm being handcuffed, I'm going to lean to him and be like, hey, BlueChew.com, promo code Rumor, $5 shipping.
As I'm doing the ad read on the show, you'll be like reciting it with me.
Oh, man. Guys, look, if you needed a reason to tune in tomorrow, Dominic DeAngelo's Blue Chew ad read may be that may be the pinnacle, guys. And if you don't get it on Thursday, you're gonna get it on Friday, because it's gonna be double or nothing when it comes to Dom doing that reading. And speaking double or nothing, how is that?
Rob, funny you mentioned that show, because you know what? They made the announcement today that Double or Nothing will be back in Vegas Memorial Day weekend, as it usually is. This time, though, not in the T-Mobile Arena, but in the MGM Grand, where they originally started, where the first Double or Nothing was. Always cool for AEW to be there in Vegas. It does feel like they're kind of, I mean, you can always make an argument of what their quote-unquote WrestleMania is. Double or Nothing kind of has that vibe to it. What do you think of this announcement? Is it good stuff? But what do you kind of think of the aspect, too, of relocating back to the MGM Grand?
I love it. I think you want there to be a destination for your big events. This is something Bruce Pritchard was talking about on Something to Wrestle With, which is also on ad-free shows, when he was talking about when WrestleMania selects a city, you have people that are going because, hey, I want to be able to go there and I want to be able to see this event. But they're also going to be bringing their family. You may be telling the wife, you may be telling the kids, we're taking a trip, and you want other activities, other things to do. Vegas is a hell of a destination for that. If they can brand themselves as this show is going to take place in Las Vegas every year at the MGM Grand, as they have more pay-per-views added to their roster across the board, making some of these feel special, I love it. I think it's a great entertainment city. It is a place where the fans, I mean, we saw it at Money in the Bank, they get into it. The audience is definitely there for Vegas. It's an attraction town, so you're going to get a lot of folks from out of town going, hey, I want to go see this wrestling show while I'm here. I think it's fantastic. It's the city that just hosted the Super Bowl, so ride that live event wave. I somehow combined that all together into Wive.
But yeah, no, I agree with you, Robert. I think again, it kind of harkens back to like, hey, having that cool
harkens back. Look at you. I'm constantly impressed.
But there's that intimate setting that the MGM Grand possesses, and it does go back to the history of what AEW started off with. And so I think it's cool.
See, I wish you would have done this story, because then when you said intimate setting, then I could have leaned into the Blue Chew ad. It's fine.
Well,
it's a great build. It's a great venue, by the way.
Absolutely, it is 100%. Moving on, though, Robert, we have plenty more to cover. So let's see. Yeah, we were going to talk about this yesterday, Robert, and you had some interesting take on this. Was AEW announces a new COO. AEW names Kosha Irby, Chief Operating Officer, to oversee the infrastructure enhancements across multiple lines of AEW's business. Tony Khan made the announcement yesterday that Irby will oversee strategic planning and execution of live events, marketing, finance, human resources, licensing, consumer products, and other major lines of business for the company. He's from Clemson. Oh, go Tigers there.
No. We're not doing that.
Okay. But he held positions with the Memphis Express of the Alliance of American Football as chief marketing officer, and then with professional PBR, Professional Bull Riders, not the beer company, and it was as president, and WE as regional director of live events. So he's got that experience. Tony Khan did offer a quote.
You named this guy Kosha. You're calling him Tony Khan.
Kosha brings decades of experience within the sports entertainment and wrestling industries, alongside incredible work ethic and passion for our brand. As chief operating officer, he will be a phenomenal asset to AEW as we enter the next phase of the company's ongoing business development and expansion. Robert, what do you think of this hire? What do you got to say about Kosha Irby?
I mean, this is an absolute grand slam right here. This is one of the smartest moves AEW has done personnel-wise in a very long time, with the exception of Mike Mansouri coming in to step into that Kevin Dunn role for them. I think this is a tremendous hire. There had not been a chief operating officer before, and a lot of the issues and problems I've highlighted with AEW can easily be corrected by this. You look at some of those areas, handling live events. When they lost Raphael Morphy, Raphael now up in Brooklyn overseeing the Barclays Center there. That is a very tough job that he's stepping into. It's a world I'm intimately familiar with. Raphael had that experience in WWE, TNA, MLW before, routing, building those relationships. The PBR as a touring brand, you have those relationships with all the different arenas. Having his time in WWE in their live event world, he understands the routing and the negotiations, the conversations that need to happen. Overseeing marketing, overseeing finance. God help him when he starts seeing how much money they spent on Okada. But I'm joking. We love you, Okada. You're great. Human resources, taking that over when that has been a thorn in Tony Khan's side for quite some time. The handling of the CM Punk situation, the handling of Brawl Out 1, handling of Brawl Out 2, the handling of Sammy Guevara, the issues with Chris Jericho. Having someone else who is an adult, who has this experience and can step in and handle all that, allows Tony to focus on television, focus on writing and producing the best TV possible, and let Kosha do everything else. The reason why I was so excited to even see him on there, I looked on LinkedIn. We have a number of people in common throughout a number of different industries, both in the sports world, the entertainment world, the wrestling world. He knows all the right people. He's endorsed by all the right people. He is going to come in and make an immediate business impact in terms of how All Elite Wrestling is run. This is going to take away a lot of Tony Khan's focus elsewhere, and hopefully we're going to see a better, more focused product because of it. You know, a lot of positivity for me for AEW. By the way, those of you in the comments section, I haven't been hacked.
He has not been hacked. But what has been hacked, Robert, is my hunger. I think you have something to maybe say about a certain product that we sponsor.
We do. That's a great segue, guys. Our second sponsor here today is Factor. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there are more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled and feeling good all the time. What are you waiting for? Get started today and get after your goals. These are 2-minute meals to heat up. You can fuel up fast with Factor's restaurant-quality meals that are ready to heat and eat whenever you are. Peek behind the curtain. My Factor arrived last night, and I had intended on rolling it out here today for lunch. My wife saw the box. We opened it up. She's like, guess what we're doing for dinner tonight? We dug in. We heated up a couple of the Factor dishes for dinner. They were absolutely incredible. I had a jalapeno chicken dish that was, it was great. It heated up quickly. It was everything that's advertised on there, which is what makes it so easy to endorse this. And you're saying, hey, Robert, why are you not eating one of them today? I'll tell you why. Because my wife definitely stole one to take to lunch, and it's going to be our meals tonight as well. I tried. They also give you little energy shots that you can buy. I got the Cayenne Cleanse that I tried. Hell of a burst of energy right there. You immediately felt better. We took it. My wife and I went for a nice walk with the dog yesterday. It was incredible. But guys, head to factormeals.com/rumor50 and use code rumor50. Easy for me to say, to get 50% off. That's code rumor50 at factormeals.com/rumor50 to get 50% off. And I can say right now, having sunk into this, it is worth it at twice the price, Tom. So there's no reason for you to not go check this thing out here at Factor. And something that we got to factor in terms of timing is we are going to get to this Motor City Machine Gun story right damn now.
Let's do it. I've been a big Motor City Machine Guns fan since like the early TNA days. They were my tag team. So it was really cool to see them kind of reinvigorate themselves on TNA, and as the Alex Shelley as the world champ, Chris Sabin as the X Division champion, and kind of bring them into this new era. But it appears that they will be moving on. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, their contracts were due to end at some point this week, I believe, and that they were saying their goodbyes at the Philadelphia tapings that TNA had this past weekend. Robert, would be an ultimate landing spot for the Motor City Machine Guns when it comes to their best of marketability and, getting the most value out of them, because they're what talents they are, and they have always been.
They're incredible. I'm disappointed that they're not staying with TNA right now. It looks like a part of this, a factor in this, is the shifting ideology of how TNA is doing contracts. They're not giving year-long contracts with guaranteed money. I think it's a per appearance fee. Don't quote me on that. That's what I've seen elsewhere. That is the rumor in Innuendo. Yep. And it sounds like the Guns want to try to take their services elsewhere. I think any organization that's going to pick them up, you're getting a hell of a tag team, but you're also getting two guys that you can break apart and do singles programs with, both Shelley and Sabin. I think AEW, yes, they are overly saturated with great teams, but man, these are incredible hands to have. If you had Shelley and Sabin on the Ring of Honor brand carrying that, I think that would be really strong. I think this is buckle up, guys. I'm going to say it right now. NWA, who is currently streaming on the CW app, would truly benefit from having great guys in front of the camera and in the locker room in Shelley and Sabin. So Billy Corgan, good, close personal friend to this show. I know you're tuning in every day waiting for us to get into this. You should absolutely be on the phone with those guys and pay them what they're worth. There's a number of different promotions within the United States, clearly some international. New Japan, who's currently going through their growing challenges, can go ahead and seek out the Machine Guns. I think there's a lot of really cool opportunities. And let's be honest, it's TNA. There is always the possibility they could wind up back there. TNA, as they've been taping currently, I think they've been on a monthly taping schedule. So they may go a month without having Shelley and Sabin and go, you know what? These guys are absolutely worth the money. Let's go ahead and pull the trigger and get them back.
Yeah. I mean, like, the value that they have for TNA, because they're originals, they're TNA originals, and so they really help define that brand and identity of it. So, like, it would be a valuable thing to kind of bring them back at some point. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see them pretty much anywhere. I mean, like, and they would elevate anything, whether it's even in the WWE tag team division, if that's something that they would want to reestablish and have a cachet name that's really, really cool. Motor City Machine Guns would, I think, fit on that program too, if they could squeeze them in there. So a lot of good possibilities for them. I love Alex Shelley, love Chris Sabin, so it'll be interesting to see where they go. Becky Lynch happened to mention where Mercedes Moné went indirectly. She talked about the money that Moné is making in AEW from the Orlando Sentinel. She has the quote, "I think it's an important part, getting paid equally for the equal work in equal position, and we are at right now. Women's evolutions and revolutions are fine and well, but making sure that they equate the contracts and financial reward for these things when we are doing equal work is hugely important." Robert, very insightful quote by Becky, but also leverage is always good in pro wrestling.
Leverage is good in pro wrestling, and the idea that Mercedes Moné is pulling in a huge contract shows that Tony Khan and AEW see the value in women wrestlers, that there is no difference between the male or female performers, that they are definitely at that 7-figure threshold, and that they can move the needle. I think it's going to help as the women come up with their renegotiations in WWE. They negotiate in AEW, if they can ask for the same money as their male counterparts, and it's completely justified. I think Becky's got to be excited. Charlotte, Bailey, everyone who's performing at a high level in the women's division in WWE has to see, when the time comes up for the contract, hey, if I'm not thrilled with what's going on here, I can go peek across the fence, and Tony Khan is going to open up the wallet. Just don't tell his new COO.
Don't inform him of that. But yeah, it's a really cool element. It really speaks to the growth of women's wrestling, and then being on that level. Like back in the olden days, they were just an attraction act akin to like Andre the Giant or whoever, and now they're a legitimate part of the show, and it's cool to see. And well deserving for a lot of these talents too. So Very, very cool, Robert. Exciting stuff. We have exciting stuff always happening here on Rumor and Innuendo. We'll get to the other stories tomorrow.
You'll get to those stories with your brother, as you'll also cover your thoughts on AEW Dynamite. But if you want to hear Dom's thoughts elsewhere, where else can the fine people hear you?
Yeah, folks, you can find me at rvdtv.com. But hey, I am very much second in that role because Rob Van Dam is on that channel.
How humble of you to say that. You know what? There may be a couple people, there may be some folks tuning in to hear former WWE champion and Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam. Most are still tuning in to see Dom. They want to know whether or not he's going to be attacked by his cat. They want to know what names he's going to be able to pronounce from the past in ECW. I don't know who you would have much trouble with. Maybe Yoshihiro Tajiri. Ooh, that might be a tongue twister for you.
I would just stick with Tajiri.
You'll stick with Tajiri.
Yeah. But yeah,
or Taz's old finishing move, the Kata Hajime.
Oh my gosh, nope.
Oh yeah, I'm getting full Excalibur. Actually, that's full Joey Styles. That was what I used when I worked with Joey. I was complimenting him on his ability, and he's like, I don't know what I was saying, but I knew if I screwed it up, Taz was going to beat the hell out of me.
Hey, brother.
Didn't say hell. Didn't say hell. Said something else. But
yes. But yeah,
friendly here.
Find me at rvdtv.com. Find new episode there. We cover Rob's WrestleMania plans for the weekend, and then he talks about tagging with Kane and all the oddball tag teams and stuff like that. Really fun conversation. Then you can go to GagneandMagnum.com, check out Magnum and Greg Gagne, Straight Talk with the Boss. New episode, we talk Wahoo McDaniel. Robert, Wrestle Roast is always cooking, man. And yeah, we got some fun stuff lined up here for Rumor and Innuendo.
Yes, Wrestle Roast is cooking. You can get that wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also check out my co-host Dan St. Germain's comedy special, Dance Fatty Dance, for free on YouTube. You can check out this show on YouTube on ad-free shows and Rumor and Innuendo. You can also listen to it in audio form wherever you get your podcasts, whether that is Spotify or iTunes. And we want to, again, say a thank you to the over 4,000 folks who are joining us live today at noon Eastern across a myriad of accounts. That's right, a myriad. WWE Creative _ISH. Dominic DeAngelo, SE Scoops, Podcast Heat. Podcast Heat is who makes this show possible. And look, I am going to miss all of my Rumor and Innuendoins Thursday and Friday. What I'm going to do when I'm walking around the city, Dom, I'm going to be listening to it in audio form, and I'm going to be like muttering. You're not going to tell the difference between a crazy homeless guy and me as I'm sitting there yelling my opinions into the ether, or when you mispronounce Takeshita tomorrow. But I know that you and your brother are going to do an incredible job. I will be back on Monday with your brother. And then next Tuesday, we have a special guest coming up that we will be revealing later on this week. So I'm getting like emotional. I'm going to see you for a couple of days. So on behalf of the imminently missable Dominic DeAngelo, I'm Robert Karpeles. Best of luck in your future endeavors.